What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Well, it looks like Anthony Joshua versus Jake Paul will be a real fight under Queensberry rules and not an exhibition, says Eddie Hearn, according to Sky Sports. Let's get into this article. This is a wild thing. Let's just get into the article. I'll tell you my thoughts afterward. Let's read the latest news that we have according to this. This is up to date as of Thursday, November 13th. Let's read into what this is all about. According to Sky Sports, Anthony Joshua's promoter, Eddie Hearn, not an exhibition fight. We're not interested in exhibition fight. It's a real fight. It would be a real fight with Queensberry rules, 10-ounce gloves. If he would be crazy enough to entertain that, we would be willing to oblige. Speaking to Sky Sports on Thursday, Eddie Hearn revealed nothing is confirmed yet regarding the fight, but it is in the works. Not an exhibition fight, as Eddie Hearn said. There's stuff to be resolved and discussed. It would be a real fight with Queensberry rules, 10-ounce gloves. The rounds would be agreed. The weight, would come down to a number that's more suited for Jake, if that's even a thing. It's a heavyweight fight. There was a bit of a jumping of the gun from the media last night. It's a cruiserweight moving up to heavyweight. I think they probably thought it was a middleweight going up to heavyweight or something like that. That's probably what they said. But Jake Paul's a cruiserweight. So we were going to have an 8-round fight this year on an undercard somewhere. We didn't expect that it'd be against Jake Paul. But it just so happens that if it's for 50 times more money, then we're going for that fight. I think if there was any chance of that fight happening next week, you'll probably hear about it. It's not done despite rumors. We have had an approach from MVP. I have my doubts. If he would be crazy, meaning Jake Paul would be crazy enough to entertain that, we would be kindly obliged. I think it would be virtually impossible for the levels of money involved to turn down the opportunity to fight Jake Paul. But like I said, nothing confirmed yet, and we'll see what happens. Hearn also revealed a mega British bout between Joshua and Tyson Fury next year is still an ambition, regardless of whether a clash versus Paul comes to fruition. Our plan is really cemented with Turki Al-Sheikh for 2026, and that's a big fight in February, and then Tyson Fury. That's what's being discussed. That's what he's telling us he's going to make happen. We'll leave that to him. So if we do run out and just wipe out Jake Paul before Christmas and make 50 million or 60 million euros, sweet as a nut. Sweet as a nut. If not, we won't do it and we'll wait until February. But, I think some people get on their high horse. So that's Eddie Hearn, the promoter of AJ, Anthony Joshua. This is what Jake Paul's team kind of believes. Regarding Paul, his team, Hearn believes that they think Joshua is in a position to be beaten, something the promoter says would be a big mistake. If you want to fight, we're having a fight. I'm not interested in an exhibition for AJ. He said, if you want to step up to heavyweight and you're that crazy to do it, Mr. Paul, you talk a good game. And by the way, if he does it, he's a brave man. Okay. So here we go again with Jake Paul. The thing is that Jake Paul's big business. Sorry about that. Jake Paul's big business. Jake Paul is kind of a conundrum to me. I feel he's not good for boxing in one aspect, and then for another aspect, I think he is good for boxing. He's not good for boxing with some of these exhibition fights that he's put up. I think they're a joke. They do make money, so a lot of people do go for him. And another aspect, I think Jake Paul as a promoter is great. It's great for boxing. He draws a lot of attention, and that's what you need as a promoter. You need to build that attention and get eyeballs to your fighters that you represent. On the surface, I don't like this fight. It's ridiculous. Why? Because Jake Paul, he always kind of puts these stipulations to have some sort of advantage for the fight, or hey, only 2-minute rounds or a certain amount of gloves, 8 rounds only or whatever. But if they actually make this an official heavyweight fight with no gimmicks, not draining Anthony Joshua to a particular weight, which I think Anthony Joshua can do anyway because he's such an athlete, he's so disciplined. But if they actually make it an official fight, I kind of like it. I'm going to tell you why. One, it's going to bring a lot of attention to the world of boxing because it's an official match with a legitimate fighter. Jake Paul will finally fight a legitimate fighter, no longer a washed up old person, Mike Tyson, no longer, a smaller Gervonta Davis, even though he didn't fight him, that was going to happen. That's ridiculous, but he's going to fight AJ. Yes, AJ has had a brutal loss. He's coming off, but AJ's still AJ. And if Jake Paul could, two things are going to happen here. And this is why I like this fight. 3, actually. AJ is going to get a good payday, and good for him. He's given us a lot of great fights, and he deserves to get a good payday. And if this is his last fight, or next year with Fury is his last fight, let him get 2 amazing paydays and let him go off to the sun. So that's 1. 2, AJ has an opportunity to finally end this freaking clown show that Jake Paul has brought to boxing. Trying to come up the ranks and, weasel his way into being a draw when in actuality he hasn't fought anyone. AJ can prove that he's nothing but a, amateur fighter that's gotten pretty lucky in some fights or has put himself in a position to win. Now, the other thing that could happen is Jake Paul can finally demonstrate, is he a real fighter? Has he gotten the skills to beat someone like AJ? Regardless of his loss, he's still AJ, and he's a legitimate, contender in the heavyweight division. He's a Hall of Famer. He's not Mike Tyson. It's AJ. He's still youthful, and he's still got a lot of power. He's still got a lot of IQ. So it could really give Jake Paul that legitimacy as a professional boxer. Now, I'm going to be skeptical if it's a, straight up fight. I have a feeling that there'll be some stipulations that we'll hear about them, but on the surface, I don't. But when you dive deeper into this fight, I kind of like it. What do you think? Do you want to see Jake Paul versus AJ? What's your take on it? Who do you want to see win? Who do you want to see lose? And how do you think that fight's going to come out? Leave a comment. Let me know. I wanted to bring this story quick to you. That's The Punch. That's the story. And that's ETB Boxing.